this kid that's mentally ill and he's walking around a little bit, and like he goes out on tantrums, and then he might play in traffic for a minute, and then he kicks around rocks and he talks to himself. And he's not a threat or nothing, but it's like he's not homeless, but he's just, they know him. But some people don't, and they treat him like he's a criminal or something, because there are crackheads and meth heads and people getting out of jail walking all perturbed and upset. So it's like they roll him in with it, and I've had to tell like 2 or 3 people. And then like they're like, okay, well, and then like, I don't care if he's in front of my place, to be honest with you, because he needs to be safe. So he's straight with me. It's like he's coherent, but he's just in a whack, So what happens is like now, people misconstrue him, and they're like, we don't want him around. But I'm like, okay, but a guy stood over me with his fist, okay, and he's a veteran because he was making fun of me, and I just decided to say, you know what, I'm going to make fun of you too. And then he's like, oh, don't say that. He stood over me with his fist. So they're like, okay, well, we're not gonna say anything about that, right? And they're gonna not tell that guy like, hey man, apologize, don't stand over him with your fist, because he did it twice, and he threatened me another time, and he was parking in my spot, all this stuff. And they're like veterans too, and that's their friend, and he's 70, not 50. So it's like, they don't care about me having a guy stand over me with his fist, right? But then they want me to get, to do something and get rid of the guy that's walking around that's mentally ill, basically. And I'm like, I hope the cops don't show up and just start beating the shit out of him, but they've passed by a bunch of times. But it's just crazy because people's scruples are in the wrong place. And like, I gave this guy food, he's coherent. I feel bad because, what? He does function, but he functions in a not a good way. And whatever the case is, he's not in a home. I think he does live around here because I saw him before, and somebody else said he just does that, and I thought they were a family member. But the whole thing is like, if it was like a white kid out there, they might not have said anything if he was sitting on that bench, that's right there next to my place. So with all this into consideration, it just looks like a crappy fucking thing where somebody that's actually innocent and mentally altered for our perception may get injured or hurt or misconceived and kicked around, or just generally killed. Because he's probably in his 40s, and like he's yelling at himself, but he's coherent enough to like dress, eat, and have words, but like he's yelling at nothing. But I mean, he could have been born like that. He could have, he could have had an accident. He could have been irresponsible and ended up like that. And people would think, oh my God, here comes this, But like, I know better, because the whole scope of homelessness, most people don't know anything about homelessness. And once you do, you're going to change your life perspective, because, it's just a crazy situation. It really is. And it's not fair. And, like, what do you do? What do you do? I'm not going to push this guy around. If he likes me too much, then it's like, okay, now I've burdened myself with, keeping someone safe that maybe I can't afford to. So here he comes. I'm closing out. You'll hear him for a second, And like, okay, maybe I don't want that restaurant around either.